everybody, welcome back to part 19 of the Pet Adoption app. Here we're going to work on our dashboard page. So we are going to, I'm just going to close all these windows here. And I just want to let you know I'll be working on the dashboard page. So I want you to click on views. I'm just going to close all these here. Click on the views page and head over to users dashboard. Okay, I'm going to leave application.scss open, application.html.erb, we don't need that, and the edit page I'm going to leave it open. Okay, but I want you to head to the dashboard. Okay, now in the dashboard over here, my Rails server is running, and in the dashboard we have this. We put this for a mockup, but we don't need this mockup anymore. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to start collapsing some things. Okay, so here we have the card body, right? Of course, at the very top we have a row. And we have the profile column, which is on the left side. It's column 4. And, right, we're going to fix, okay, extra large 4 and column large 5. All right, so that's the one on the left side. So I'm going to collapse the one on the left side. I just collapsed it. And I want you to head over to the column extra large 8, column large 7, the one on the right side, where it says the dashboard here. I'm going to change this. I'm going to call this pet for adoption, right? Pet or pets for adoption. And this is going to be the list. I'm going to save it. This is going to be like the list here of all the pets that you've added for adoption. Okay. So come back again here. And right underneath that, inside the card body, we want to add another row here and add a big button that's going to say add pet. Okay, so add a pet for adoption. So we're going to link to the new pet path, the new action that we created in the controller previously in the previous parts. So but I think we don't need a row, but let's see. I think we can put a row. Yeah, let's put a row. Okay, let's put a row, a div.row, like that. And inside of that row, okay, here I'm going to put, so here is the button. So let me just say here what happened here. What happened here? Okay, like that. Okay, so let's just say the button to add a new pet. Okay. So in here I'm gonna do maybe a column large 6. So it's like a half a column, but I'm gonna make it float to the left. Okay. So I'm gonna put div dot col dash large dash 6, and inside of there I'm gonna just put the link to button. So the link to, and the text is going to be add pet for adoption. Okay, add pet for adoption. Okay, and the path is going to be the new pet path. You can find that in rake routes, new pet path. And we want to add a couple of classes, but actually before I even add any classes here, on the column large 6, we want this to float to the left. So float dash left. That's also a bootstrap class. I'm going to put padding y. I'll show you later why I'm putting these things. Anyway, so here I'm going to put a class. I'm going to make it equal to, let's see. Let's just save this as is and see what happens. So come here and click refresh. So there's a syntax error. That's okay. So link to add pet adoption, new pet path. I don't know what is wrong with that, but I don't see that there's anything wrong here. So where is it wrong? Link to add pet for adoption, new pet path. What have I done? Encounter rendering template container. Okay. had a syntax error. So we have a link to add pet for adoption. Okay, so there we go. So there is your link. Okay, so the mistake here, because I added an empty class. I don't know. Anyways, so we save this as is. Come here and you'll see the add pet for adoption. And sure enough, if you click this, it takes you to pets new. So what we want to do now is I want to make this like a button. So in the class here, I'm gonna do a comma class. I'm gonna add some classes. Okay, I'm gonna do a BTN outline. Okay, it's you can go to Bootstrap classes. Google Bootstrap buttons, and you'll find it. Okay, so it's BTN. I want a button at the class, and then a BTN dash outline, and I want the color to be green. So it's gonna be BTN outline success dash success. And we also want to add a BTN block, BTN dash block, so you can take the entire, because if I don't, you'll see what will happen now. Text uppercase, text dash uppercase. These are all easy Bootstrap classes. That's the whole point of using Bootstrap. It makes life easier. Text uppercase. If I save this and come here and refresh, you'll see a button like that. But we want to make it a little bit bigger, so do a BTN block, so you can take the whole entire half column. And then BTN dash block. Okay, so save it. Come here and refresh. You'll see it'll take half the column. Why? Because also, like when we do something like this in the different screen sizes, it takes up the whole column. Otherwise, it's not going to take up the whole column. So just keep it simple. Also, I want to add some padding up and down, padding Y. I want to add some padding there. So I'm going to say here, I'm going to put PY-4. Okay, so that's going to give us some padding, and there you go. So now the users can click on this and add a pet, but they also want to see all the pets that they add. So here I am logged in as mike@gmail.com. So what I want to do now is I want to, inside this row, I want to add a navigation menu, okay, where I can filter everything. But before I even do that, I think it's important that you guys understand what I'm going to be doing right now. Like what I'm going to do right now is we're going to basically get all the pets that belong to the current user who's logged in, which is mike@gmail.com. You might have something different. And we want to loop through an each loop, do it for each loop, and loop through all the pets that are inside that belong to the current user who's logged in. Okay, so for that purpose, I'm going to tell you right now that out of all these columns here that we have, these three cards, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just remove all of them, remove the last two. So this is the last one. I'm going to remove that. We don't need it because we're going to be looping. Okay, we don't need the second last either. So if you save this and come here, you'll notice it's only one card. So what I want to do now is I want to loop through, do it for each loop, and loop through all of them. So I'm going to do a div. I'm going to do a for each loop, right? So I'm going to type in each and autocomplete. So here, in regards to this, obviously it's going to be the current user, right? So we want the current user who's logged in dot each do an item. This could be X, okay? And then you have to basically for each pet, it's going to loop through the pet table. It's going to come here and do. I'm just going to connect the database. Let me just find pet adoption development, and I'm going to find the pets. So for each pet here that belongs to mike@gmail.com, okay, so here we only have two, I believe. It's user ID number 2. So if you find the users, for me, user ID is 2 is Mike. So obviously here it's going to loop through the two pets, which is Fluffy and Tina. And if there was like other pets, it would loop through all of them, okay? So current user dot each do X. So instead of X, I'm going to just, so that you guys, it's easier for you guys to understand it, I'm going to say X pets, X pet. I'm going to say X pet like an X pet, okay? This is bad practice. What I should be doing is naming it pet, but I just don't want to confuse you guys later. I'll tell you why. let me just leave it x, so that way it makes more sense. Mathematically, in math class, you'd be used to, saying it x, right? X, y, or b, or c, or whatnot. So I'm going to call it x, all right? So after that, what you want to do now, it's looping through, so now we can do whatever we want. We can call the image tag. We can call the image tag, okay? So we can say something like, hang on, so let's just do an image. Actually, no, hang on. Let's first grab this loop. I'm going to take out the end. I'm going to put it underneath here, so that for each loop, for each pet, create this. Like for every single pet that's available in the database, in the table, in the pet table, I want you to do this. So I'm going to indent this here. I'm going to indent it further, and if I save it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to see 2. You're going to see 2 because we have 2 pets. Oh, here it says current user.h2x. Okay. Current user.h2x. What's wrong with that? Okay, we have to I forgot to add pets here. Okay, so it's the pets table, pets dot current user.pets.h2. Okay. Here you go. So go to the current user pets table h2. Okay, save it, come back here and refresh it, and there you go. You have 2. Why? Because in our database I have only 2. Okay, you may have 4 or 5, you may have 1, but just letting you know, if you don't have 1, if you have more than 1, then if you only have 1, go make a few more. Go to pets /new and add a few more pets. So now this is pointless. So now we want to start replacing things. So of course I can say, I can come to the card title here and I can say X, because we called X here. For each pet, get me, it's targeting that pet. Okay, X dot title. But let's just wrap it first inside. So you want to, so here we have X, X dot title. So it's basically saying go to the current user. Basically what X is basically, it's saying go to the current user dot pets dot title. You know what I mean? That's why here you have an X. I can call this C if I want. I can call it G. I can call it, but normally we call it pet. You would call it pet, because this is the pets table, get the pet. And that's what I'm going to call it now. Just, I want you guys to know why, okay? We have pets. So later you don't have to confuse why this is plural. This is the table. And then this here is just the loop. It's, it's just the loop. So you're basically saying current user dot pets dot title. But because you have many, you need to use pet here, or X, or Y, or B, or whatever. So if I save this and come here, you'll notice that this is going to be Fluffy and this is going to be Tina. So, and of course we can add description here, but I'm not going to add description. I'll tell you in a minute why. The user doesn't need to see that they have description. So the user needs to see that there's an image, there's a name, category, and edit. The user needs to be edited. Like here, for the edit here, we can do the BTN. So I'm going to remove this. This is BTN primary, right? I'm going to remove it. I'm going to do a link to, and here I'm going to say edit. And then in the path, we want to say edit path, right? The edit pet path. Edit underscore pets underscore path. That you can get that from rake routes. But which pet? So we need to pass in the pet here. Okay, so you want to copy that and then pass the pet. So you want to pass it, say, hey, it's the pet that we're talking about. So and then also you want to add class, and then you want to say BTN and BTN dash primary. So instead of me explaining everything now, as you can see, if I click here, I can edit that pets one. You see here in the bottom left corner, okay, and you see here in the bottom left corner, this is pet number 8. So if I edit this, it's going to take me to the path. It's going to take me to the pet. Okay, so if I come back here and I click on Tina, it's going to take me to Tina's path, the pet Tina. So there we go. And so again, I'm gonna come back here, and I want to let you know that I'm not gonna be using this. I'm not gonna be using this column with the card. I'm going to be doing something a little more complex, or it's a lot simpler actually, not complex. But so that said, I'm going to remove all this. All right, I'm going to remove all this, and I'm going to leave it like that. What I want you to do is just take a second and relax. Maybe you can have a look, or you can just follow me along. But what I'm going to do first, I'm going to create another row. Okay, above that. Okay, I'm going to create another row. Actually, you know what? No, we're inside the row now. So hang on, let me just take off some white space. This is our loop, and inside the loop, I'm gonna do an image. Okay, I'm gonna add the image as it is. Okay, I'm gonna add a column, my own column. We're gonna style it with CSS. Just watch me. All right. So I'm gonna do a div dot pet dash image dash call. I'm going to call it like that. I'm going to give it a meaningful name. It's a pet image column, because inside this column we're going to have the image. Okay. And next thing I want to do is I'm going to add the image tag, image underscore image tag. Okay. And in the image tag, we're going to do the actually, you know what? What about the pets that don't? The ones, the people who don't add a picture, that's going to be a problem, right? So, of course, we can do. So let's just do a helper first, okay? Because imagine, so like earlier, you see this here. This is just coming statically, right? But if you fetch the database for it, it's going to be problematic. It's going to be really, really problematic, because those people who don't add an image may not have an image, but they want to still put pet up for adoption. So you don't want to get an error. You know what I mean? You don't want to get an error. So we want to create a helper. That's for those people who don't add an image. So come to helpers. Come to helpers. This is important because in the future, whether you're doing a real estate app or whatever, you need to have a backup. Like if the user doesn't have an image, add it. So of course you can make a validation in the model and say that it has to be present. But at the same time, you want to give a backup image that's going to be used in case, like same with the avatar. Remember with the avatar, we did like a helper method. So you want to do the same thing. So you want to come to helpers and you want to click on application helper. And we're going to do the same thing that we did here for the avatar. So I'm going to grab all this, I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to paste it in. So here it's avatar user. So instead I'm going to say missing, I don't know, missing pet image. Okay, so I'm going to type it missing underscore pet underscore image. And in here I'm going to pass it the pet. I'm going to say pet and if user.avatar. So instead of saying if user.avatar, I'm going to say if pet dot pet photos, because we're dealing with pet photos attribute, pet underscore photos. You can look it up on the model, the pet model. It has many attached pet photos. Okay, so pet photos. So if pet dot photos attached, then do the URL for, and you want to put the pet here. Okay, so you want to say pet dot pet photos, pet underscore photos. But the user obviously might have added many photos, so it becomes an array. So you want to get the index 0, the first photo. You can put the second photo if you want, but for now I'm gonna say index 0, which is the first photo. Okay, so that's only if they're attached to this. And then the else if, we don't need the else if anymore. We don't need the else if, but we do need the else. So if else end, and then over here we can say we're gonna have to get a default image. So default image. Okay, now hang on a second. Let me come here and say empty photo. Photo. Okay, so here I am. I just wanted to save some time, so we're here, no image available, so I'm going to just click on that. and just close these ads. There's so many ads. I just all right. So just make sure you don't download any of this junk or any of this crap. So basically, this says no image. I downloaded it. Just make sure that you're downloading correctly. Maybe even go to this URL. Okay, so I downloaded it already. So I'm just gonna close this. I'm gonna close that. There's a lot of like spam and all kinds of stuff. So just show in Finder, and there I am. I'm gonna copy that no image icon. I'm gonna come to my projects folder, pet adoption. I'm gonna go to app. I'm gonna go to assets and images, and then just paste it in. Like no image icon. I'm just gonna say no dash image. No image. Okay, that's the icon. Okay. Close that, close this, come back over here, and here we're going to say no dash image, like that, dot png. Okay, so now we have a method that we can call. We can say missing pet, okay? I'm going to copy this method, and actually you can, copy this whole method here. Copy that. Come back to dashboard, and over here, instead of calling a file name, I'm going to do this, missing pet image. And of course, if this was X again, this would have been X here. Okay, so that's why I'm passing pet here, not because of the method in the helper. Okay, the method in the helper I put pet, but if the method in the helper is pet and this is X, I will still put X here. Okay, now so that's that, and and then once you have that done, all you gotta do is let's save it, and then come back here. Let's see how ugly this is gonna be, but it's not gonna be as ugly as you may think. Oh, here, so URL pet photo. Did you mean pet photos? We're in the helper. No. Oh my gosh. I think. Come back to the helper. Pet photos. Yes, I meant pet photos. Come back here. Let's refresh this, and it's going to give us 2 images, right? Exactly. So here it has no image available, and this one. So here there was no image, and the second one we do have an image. So that's okay. All right, that's okay. So let's just leave it as that, and come back over here, and at least we know it works. So now that we have an image, we want to start working on putting a background. We want to put a background. I want to make this tinted, make this black, and put some text on top of it. So I want you to follow what I'm going to be doing now. And of course, we're going to have to start adding some CSS. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this whole entire thing here, this image, with a div dot, nothing, with a div, just like that. And inside I'm going to put a style equal background black. Okay, I'm going to wrap it, like I'm going to take the end of the div and I'm going to put it so this one ends here. Okay, so let me just indent this, paste that in. So this ends here, this ends there, this ends the loop, and this ends the row. Okay, so let me just take off some spacing. Alright, so this looks, so if we save this and you come here, you're going to be like, wow, what's going on? But don't worry about it. Okay, so we have that. Next thing you want to do is start adding the text, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take, right below the image, I want to add a division, and I'm going to add a class. That's where I'm going to add my title and my category and all that. So I'm going to put a div dot, we'll call it something like, top dash left, top left, okay? All right, so in the top left, we want to add the name, and we want to add, yeah, okay, so let's add the name, and let's call the name, okay, let's put some, okay, there we go. So we're going to put pet dot name, right? No, pet dot, sorry, title. Pet dot title, that's the pet title. Okay, so we have the pet title, and we also, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a break. That's just a new line, and I'm going to say category. Category, and do. Now for the category, we can say again pet, so we're grabbing this one here, right? This thing here, up here. So it's pet dot, category, and we want to get the name, category name. Okay, just like in our table, it's the category and it's the name. Okay, so it's the category model and get the name, and that's that for that. Now, if we save this, it's gonna it might be really ugly. It's gonna be ugly, no problem. Let's just keep going, and we're gonna fix everything. We're gonna fix it, and we're gonna make it look really good. All right. But we also want to put. What I'm gonna do also is I'm gonna add an HR. Okay, I'm gonna add an HR. And maybe I'm gonna style the HR to. It's okay. I'll just leave the HR as is. And we're gonna do a link to earlier. We did it. We said that we want to link to the edit. Okay, so we want to edit pet. I'm just gonna call it edit. And in the path, I'm gonna say the edit pet path. Okay, edit pet path, and we want to pass it again the pet. Okay, we're gonna pass the pet and do another class. For the class, I'm gonna say, I don't know, btn. I think it's a link. btn link and btn. What else? No, we don't need that. Just make it a btn link. We don't want a button. We just want a btn link type of button with no borders and no background. But I'm gonna call the text white. Text-white, and I'll tell you why in a second, because I want to do a background with a tinted black, okay? Not fully black, but tinted black. So if we come here and we refresh this, you're going to see that. You see the HR is in there, but you don't see it because of the color. So I can actually style the color, style the HR, style equals to background dash color, and make the HR white. Okay, save it. Now come over here, refresh, and you'll see the HR. Perfect. Now we're gonna start. Obviously, we have to start styling this one here, the pet image column. So what I want you to do is come to application.scss and come to the very bottom, and we're gonna call this. Maybe give it like a meaningful name. Something like gallery, I don't know, like gallery pets section, and then I'm gonna just comment it out, so that way we know. And here we want to start styling. So let's see. You know what? I'm just thinking now, the pet column, we need to also, I'm just thinking like we need to actually add a row here too. You know what, over here, I'm gonna add another class, okay? So we'll add another class because we're gonna need to manipulate the row, all right? And we don't wanna manipulate this row class that belongs to Bootstrap. So I'm gonna add another class in here. I'm going to call it pet-image-row. Okay, so let's grab that. Okay, copy that. Okay, so save it. Make sure application.css. I'm going to do another class, pet-image-row, and in here I can start styling without destroying the Bootstrap classes. Okay, because you don't want to destroy the Bootstrap classes. So we're going to do a text display we want to display everything as ms flexbox. Okay, ms dash flexbox. Okay, that's for sure, because we want to display them in the flex way, and we want to also display flexbox. Okay, no, actually display flex and ms flexbox wrap ms and we want to do a wrap. And also, we also want to catch, this is for Internet Explorer 10, right? So you want to have those for Internet Explorer, those two. And we also want to do that for flex wrap, I think. Flex dash wrap. And again, you want to say wrap. And padding, okay? Padding, I'm going to say 0 and 4 pixels. Up and down, 0 and 4 pixels for left and right. Okay, so let's just save that and come back to dashboard and save that and come back to application.scss. And you know, let's just start working on this one here. Okay, so here I'm gonna do the same thing. MS Flex. The MS Flex, I want it to be wrap. Okay, and actually no, MS Flex, let's do 25%. Okay, so 25% for the MS Flex, and we also need to do for Internet Explorer 10. So Flex, 25%. Okay. We also want to do max width, max dash width, 25%, and the padding also. Padding, you can add padding of 0 and 4 pixels, and margin dash top, let's say it's going to be 8 pixels. That's safe. And then also for the text, you see the text needs to be relative. Okay, so I want to do for text, okay, on image, the position needs to be relative, right? So position, the position of this image column needs to be relative. And the text align, I'm going to align it text dash align left. And also the color of the text, I'm going to make it white. And display none. I'll tell you why I'm going to display none. Because I'm going to actually hide this later when I filter. So I'm not going to display none for now, but I'll show you later. So now we have all this. If you come here and refresh, you might get like a big surprise of how everything looks. As you can see, everything is looking a lot better. So now it's time to target the actual image, okay? So targeting the image is obviously important because, as you can see, they're too wide. Okay, so we want to target the image by grabbing this here. Okay, we're going to grab that. Anyways, dot pet dash image pet dash image column. Okay, and then you want to target the image. So in here, we want to start saying, I don't know, width. Let's do the width 100%, and let's add the vertical align middle. Okay. And yeah, let's see it come back here, refresh. Okay, very good. So now it's taking up, this is so much better. So what we want to do is we want to move all these up on the top, okay, and give it a background. Okay, we're going to have to worry also about the screen sizes that are below 800 pixels and below 600 pixels for responsive layouts, right? So now let's just give it first of all. Let's come back here to dashboard, and we're gonna have to work on this background. Of course, this background is giving us. It's supposed to. We need to do an opacity for. Let's give it a class. Let's give the image a class. Okay. Okay. So let's just give it an image a class. Let's say tinted. And actually loading too. When we put loading, there's nothing to do with the class, but loading. Just leave that. So on the tinted, copy that class and come back here, and on tinted, let's put opacity 0.6. Okay, for now, just to see what else we can do. Okay, and we also want to target the top left class that we created, which is right here. That's the title and the category name. So top left, I'm going to start adding position absolute because the column is relative, right? So position absolute. Okay, now don't get intimidated by all this. You can copy all this from W3 Schools. You can go to W3 Schools and search something like how to add text over image. Don't get intimidated by all this. Is all available on the internet. You don't need to memorize any of this, but you kind of grasp the idea after you do it a couple of times, and you kind of remember approximately what to do, and then you can always fix it later. So I'm going to put a top here, 16 pixels, and I'm going to put a left 16 pixels, and font dash weight, I'm going to say 700, and font size, font dash size, 18 pixels. Okay, so if I save this and come here, you'll notice that the whole thing is going to move up. Oh, there we go. So you see the tinting here. The tinting over here, it actually worked, believe it or not. Like, I'll tell you why, because if I was to remove this, if I commented this out, and you came here, and you refreshed it, it would actually be too bright to look at it would be too bright, right? So that's why you want to do this opacity 0.6. And in regards to this one, let's just try to remove this, see what happens. And if we refresh this, you see, it's just doing an opacity of a white background. So that's why you need to have the background black here. If you save it and you come here, the background will be black with the opacity. So that's really good. But we also have another issue, which is the responsiveness, right? The responsiveness, this is not responsive. It doesn't look good. So I'm going to grab it from 800 pixels and 600 pixels. So come back to application.scss, and we're gonna need to add media. All right, so you want to say add media and add media screen, and max dash width, that's 800 pixels. So over here, add media screen. So whenever the screen is maximum 800 pixels, right, up until 800 pixels, I'm going to target the pet image column, which is the column that we made, pet image column, okay, which is this one here, the pet image call. So the pet image call, I'm going to target it, okay, and do another curly brace. So You see what I'm saying? The first curly braces, I think you've done CSS, so I'm assuming you have done some CSS, and I hope you do. Okay, it's really important to understand it. So the MS flex, I'm going to make it 100%, and the flex and the max width, I'm going to give it 100%, just to make sure that, actually, no, in that case, I'm going to do it at 600, okay? Yeah. So MS flex, so the MS flex, give it 100%, okay, and the flex also 100%, 100%, and then max width, I'm going to say 100%, everything 100%. Okay, so you see? So that after 600 pixels, it becomes an entire thing. That's good, but also between 800. So let me just copy this, copy that, paste it in here, and I'm going to change this to 800. And I'm going to put it at 50% instead. 50%, 50%, and 50%. And if we save it, and I refresh this first, and then I start resizing the screen, look what happens. You see? That way we have two columns between 600 and 800. And you can change it different ways, you know, but I think that's the two main ones that we need to do. Okay, now in regards to this image here, don't worry, it's not going to be like this. I think it's a good idea that we get a good, beautiful, good-looking infographic, you know, like a flat icon, but it costs money, and I'll try to get one for you guys, the ones that are free, and we'll work around it, okay? But anyway, there's some free ones on the internet, I just don't have the time to go look for them. Now, I think we also need to start doing filtering. Okay, filtering is so important. But before I do the filtering, I'm going to start adding some pets. Okay, I'm going to start adding some pets, and I've already downloaded a bunch of dogs, birds, rabbits, reptiles, and guinea pigs, and cats. And I'm going to start adding some pets. You're more than welcome to fast forward, but I'm going to start adding some pets now. And actually, I'm going to... So let's just work on... I'm going to do one example, and then I'm going to pause the video. So I'm going to call this, I don't know, Larry. Okay, I'm going to call Larry a dog, and I'm going to save and continue. Okay, so here I'm going to say lorem ipsum, and just grab some text. I'm going to grab some text for Larry. Okay, and youtube.com, https, youtube.com. I'm going to say is paid, and I'm going to come over here in Finder, and I'm going to go to my downloads. Where is my download? Where did I download this? Show in Finder. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna start grabbing, I think that's a turtle, that's a dog. Okay, so I'm gonna drag and drop this over here. Okay, so I'm gonna click on publish because I'm only gonna keep only one. This is just for demo purposes. So why did this not save? Okay, let's refresh this. Okay, so we're gonna have to work on this later on this is a bug, so but it's working, it's fine. So now I'm gonna add another one. So I'm gonna do pets new again. Pets/new. I did the wrong URL. And here I'm going to call this, I don't know, I'm going to call this, can you give me some pet names? Teo. I'm going to call it Teo, Teo, and then I'm going to call Teo another dog. I'm going to click Save and Continue. And over here, I'm going to paste, I'm going to just remove some, I think the row height is the problem, but we'll fix that later. It's okay. YouTube.com, and I'm going to drag and drop the next image of Teo. Okay, and I'm gonna publish this one. And oh wow, okay. So we have a controller issue here. It seems like we're gonna have there's a bug here. So when you save the first time, it doesn't actually save. You have to do it twice. You see, you have to do it twice. So now if I save it, it saves. So we'll fix that problem in the controller, okay? Now I'm gonna let you do the rest, and I'm gonna be right back. Okay, so I have added all the pets. Okay, I've added a bunch of different pets, and this is what we have now. And as you can see, it's nice to be able to see all the different sizes, the initial sizes of the images. Because imagine if the user actually took that photo and they wanted to have that, but of course this is not showing it to the user in the front end, like the people who go to like petadoption.com or whatever, and they're not going to see it like this. This is just for the dashboard, right? So, but I still wanted to leave the same height. And look, it's also responsive. Okay, this is responsive, except that the issue here is that we can make this a bigger column. We can make it a bigger column, or we can change it to 33%. Okay, we can change it to 33% at a different width. So, but so far, if I'm like starting to look, it looks pretty good to me. You know, it looks pretty good to me, considering that all these images are different sizes. So the next thing we have to do is actually, when it comes to, like, imagine if you're a pet adoption rescue center and you have like, 100 different dogs every month. Like, imagine how crazy this would be, like trying to find that dog. So we're gonna create a filtering system where we can just click with JavaScript, just click on birds or dogs or cats, and it will filter by category. So as you can see here, I've added guinea pigs, cats, birds, dogs, and I've added more dogs than everything else. But as long as you guys can see, so for the filtering, we can do basic filtering system like Bootstrap, let's see. Okay. So I'm here, and let's just search documentation. I think it's filter. So we can do nav. Bootstrap filtering. There you go. Bootstrap filters. Okay. This won't be it. Table filter. Tab list. I think it's tab list. Okay, so tab list. So in the tab list, look, you could do, so you're hiding everything. and it's putting the show, but it's actually only doing show. Okay, so why don't we just do it with JavaScript? Okay, let's just do it with JavaScript and we'll figure it out. Now, first of all, let's just come back to application.scss. And for the column, pet image column, I'm going to say display none, and I'll tell you why in a second. Display none. And if we do that, we come back here and refresh this, it will show nothing because it says display none. So none of the columns are showing. So I'm gonna comment it out. But inside the dashboard, I want you guys to just follow me for a minute, or you're welcome to copy and paste from the repo, but it's not really important now. This is for Ruby on Rails, it's not for JavaScript, but let's just do it anyway. Okay, so first I'm going to add an ID. Let me see. Let's add an ID. Let's create another row to create filters. So let's come back here to nav and put nav bar or navs. Okay, so we're gonna grab this. I want to grab this nav link here. Copy that. Come back here. On top of this row, I'm gonna put a div.row, and inside of that, I'm gonna paste that in. It's gonna look ugly, but that's okay as long as the functionality works. We'll work on it later. So I don't want this disabled. Okay, and then save it. Come back here, and you'll notice a new nav bar in there. And I've also uncommented the display none. Okay, so in the nav bar, we want to add an on click, right? We're gonna say like on click, so that every time someone clicks. So for this one, I'm gonna call it show all. Show all. Okay. This I'm gonna call dogs. This I'm gonna call cats, and I'm gonna start adding more and more links. Cats and guinea pigs. Guinea pigs. Oh gosh, how do you spell that again? It's guinea pigs. I'm gonna add another one, call it rabbits, and then another one's reptiles. These are our categories, reptiles. So for each one of them, in regards to the link, I'm gonna remove the hrefs. Okay, I'm gonna remove the hrefs for them. Okay, and instead I'm gonna replace it. So I'm gonna just do this, grab all this up until the end, and Command F, and that's you're gonna be able to replace this with on click. Yeah, I'm gonna do an on click, and we're gonna say it's equal to a filter. So we want to create a filter to double quotes. Okay, and in the middle, I'm gonna put a filter selection. Filter selection. Okay, you can name it whatever you want, but better name it like that. So replace. Replace and replace. So once you have all that, oops, where are we now? Okay, in the filter. Oh my god, what did I do? Yeah. Okay, so again, we're at line 274, around there. So filter selection, and I'm gonna pass it the dogs. Okay, so what I'm gonna call it here, I'm gonna call this all. Okay, first of all, this is all, show all. The second filter I'm gonna create is gonna be the dogs. Okay, so dogs, but we want to name it the same name of our in the database. So if you open Foxico or pgadmin, you'll notice if you come back to the categories, you want to name it exactly that: bird, cat, dog, guinea pigs. Because you see, I named the bird as a singular. Okay, and of course we can change that, but I named the bird singular, the cat singular, the dog singular, and then guinea pigs. I think I should have named them all plural, but I think I had a good reason to at the time, and now I think I'm wrong, but it doesn't matter. So we have guinea pigs, rabbits, and reptiles. So just remember what these are. So bird, cat, dog are all singular. Bird, cat, and dog, and the rest is all plural. So dog, okay, and this one is cat, and this one is bird, okay, and this one is guinea pigs, and this one is reptiles. Okay, so I think we got all of them. So we got, and rabbits, we didn't put rabbits. So let's put after cat, let's put rabbit. Oh no. Let's put rabbit. It's plural, rabbits. Rabbits, and then this is guinea pigs. Guinea pigs. What you write here, it doesn't matter. You can put whatever you want. So I'm going to put everything as plural. But in here, in what you pass it, you want to give it the real name of the attribute in the table, in the category table. So now that we have all that, I'm gonna add an ID here so we can target it with JavaScript. Let's say ID. ID. I'm gonna call it like the pet container, pet nav container, pet nav with camel casing, pet nav container. Okay. So guys, and after this, what we want to do is actually, instead of going through all the JavaScript with you guys one by one, I want you to tell you that you can get it online. So just open Chrome, and you can just open a new tab and type in W3 Schools JavaScript filter elements. Filter JavaScript filter. I think I was no JavaScript filter. Categories like that. I think it's JavaScript filter elements. Okay, filter. JavaScript portfolio, something like that. Filter search list. I believe it's inside of here. I just can't remember what is the maybe it's portfolio or portfolio gallery filter JavaScript. So there you go. So you got all these filters. So what you want to do is click on try it yourself. So over here, all we want to do is just grab the JavaScript, okay? That's all you want to do. Come to the bottom. Okay, there we go. So just grab this whole entire script all the way down to the bottom. Copy that. Come over here and just add it here. And that's it. And here, of course, this you don't need to add this W3 class. Filter selection, all, filter selection, get element. So over here, the class name, first of all, we have the pet nav container, so copy that. So we have an ID. where is the ID? Get element by ID, this one. So you're going to replace my btn container with petnav container because that's our ID. And whenever you see W3 schools, like this is not necessary, like W3 remove class, so just do instead just do Command F, okay? Select it and do Command F and replace it with remove class, like that. So change this one and change that, okay? Another one is W3 add class, Command F. We don't need W3 add class. We need to replace it with add class, like that. Change it 2 times. There's 2 of them, so you can change it twice. So whenever you see W3, that's incorrect. Not that it's incorrect, it's right, but you don't just use JavaScript, and you can change the vars to let. But that doesn't matter now in our situation. This is going to work perfectly fine, and so that's it. And then it's adding active. So we need to define, because right now if you come to application.scss, we have display none if we uncommented. So I'm gonna say display none because this is gonna show display none by default. Okay, so our server is running. If I come here, why is this there? If I refresh this, you're gonna see now that everything is not displayed. But the fact that we just added this piece of JavaScript here, it's gonna take, as long as it's clicked. Once it's clicked, this here, once it's clicked, once you click all, it should show it, right? And we have everything here except for the column. We want to replace this class here with, this column here, because this is the class that we're gonna be adding, we're gonna be matching. Okay, so replace that and then save it. And when you come back here now to refresh it, it's gonna work, but there's a problem with this. It's still not adding. If we click here, nothing happens, and that's because I'll tell you why. It's because we need to do the class active. The class show. Okay, we have to define the class show. That's if we don't define the class show, then we are going to have a problem. So go to application.scss and define, because now the show class is being added, but it's just, it doesn't mean anything. So inspect, if you inspect this and you click on any of these things, like if you click here, like first of all, let's select it. So let's select this, for example. So if I click show all, look what happens. There's the class active and then dogs. So let's add the class show. So dot show. So let's say that here we want to display block. Display block. Save it, come back here, refresh. Now I don't know why this is taking forever, but yeah, there you go. So if I click on dogs, look, if I click on cats, rabbits, guinea pigs, there's guinea pigs twice. So this is obviously a typo there. Come to dashboard, and there's guinea pigs twice. So cats, rabbits, birds. Let's call that birds. Save it, and guys, please, I hope you did the homework of adding all the pets that you're supposed to add. So we have dogs, cats, rabbits, guinea pigs. Oh, let me refresh. Gosh. Okay, so birds, there you go. There's your 2 birds. Guinea pigs, and again, in my database, if I come to Postico and I come to the pets, you're gonna notice I've added all the pets. If I refresh this, I hope you did the same. I hope you did the same. And some of them have, like, I added YouTube URL, some of them I didn't. So if I wanted to click on show all, there's one mistake somewhere. I think it's this one. Yeah, this one, Fluffy. So if I click on Fluffy and I want to update Fluffy, earlier I had an issue. I think I had an issue. I don't know what happened. I don't think it was the controller issue. It must have been, maybe it was a TurboLinks issue. I doubt it was TurboLinks, but we'll have to obviously test it. But
if I click on Finder here, and I'm just gonna grab this here, one of those images. I'm gonna make sure it's a dog. Actually, I'm gonna take this guy here. I'm gonna call this guy, I'm gonna call him Fluffy. I think I've used him before. Oops, no, this is not it. So what happened here? How come this you see here, you see what I'm saying? This is because I think it's the turbo links. Let me grab another dog, this one here. I haven't used this. So Helena. So I'm gonna drag Helena here, and see, it's not working. And the reason why is because if I refresh now though, so we're gonna have to fix this. I know the fix, but I refreshed it now. I just did Command R to refresh, and if I drag it over, now it's working. You see what I mean? So that's an issue we have to work on. And then the pet description, I'm gonna say hello. I'm gonna just do whatever. I have no patience to do any of this. Okay, so that's a pet description. And then the YouTube, I'm gonna just type in youtube.com. I'm gonna click is spade. And Fluffy, I'm gonna change it to Helena. And I'm gonna just publish like that. And you see everything has been saved. It's fine, everything works fine. So if I come over here, back to Postico, and I refresh this, you're gonna see Helena. She's right here. She's ID number 1. Alright, so if I come back again to dashboard like this, and I click on dogs, you will see Helena there, right here. So this looks pretty good, guys, and and also it looks good too on different screen sizes. So as you can see, so the next thing we can do obviously is put these to look like that up here, so people can just flick through them. That's not hard to do. We can use a JavaScript library, but why? If we can just do it by ourselves with CSS, you don't need JavaScript. You can just use simple CSS. And again, if there's a lot of things, you can just click on dogs, cats. If you click on cats like that, you filter all the cats. So that way it's easier to be able to keep track of what's happening, right? So this is the functionality we did in this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in part 20. Thanks, guys, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, I'm just gonna do Control C. So git add all, git commit -m, part 19 completed. The dashboard to show all the pets, and created filter functionality to filter pets by category for the person who puts the pets for adoption. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do git push. Okay guys, please like and subscribe, support my channel, and I will see you in part 20.